Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so he has an attorney, so.
And Deputy, a couple of things before we begin. I got the message about the two individuals who will need interpreters. So of course, we can do those last. And then there was a Miss Asia Henderson. I did not see a state CAA form for her.
Henderson got released.
Okay, she did get released. Okay, great. That's great. All right. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready to go. When they're ready to come out.
And Judge, on Shubrick,
Yes.
I don't know if you have, yeah, we just located him, but he says he has an attorney, but we still has this CAA form.
What I'd like to do is just, if we can, just go ahead and scan that over to me and I'll go through it with him verbally. My preference would be, since the attorney is not here for first appearance, I can always just assign him an attorney and then have the attorney he's paid for go ahead and they'll do a substitution of counsel at the appropriate time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, Brown.
Good morning, Miss Moultrie.
How are you?
I'm good, ma'am. Good. Okay, ma'am.
All right. And Deputy, am I correct? I see one gentleman, all the men out there. Well, they're still bringing them over.
We'll bring the rest of them out now.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Everybody else behind these four. Okay.
All right, I believe that's everyone, Deputy.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe, and today is February 11th. It's approximately 11:04 a.m., and this is your first appearance here before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We're going to go over a couple things here before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, just to make sure that everybody understands what's going to happen this morning. Of course, if you have questions as we call you up individually, please don't hesitate, to ask those questions so that I can make sure before you leave here today that I've been able to assist you as best I can. But there are a couple of things I do want you to remember. Today is not your time to try your case or to take a plea. And I suggest that you remember that more than anything else I will say here today, because there are certain things you don't want to tell me. You don't want to tell me about the facts of your case. You don't want to tell me anything at all that happened. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is recorded, this is live, there are witnesses, and anything you say can and will be used against you later on. You are here for this court to specifically do a few things, and that is to inform you of the charges against you, to advise you of your rights, your certain rights that you have, and then to set bail for those offenses for which I can. I'm also here to schedule any preliminary hearings and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. But remember, you do have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. During this proceeding, you also have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to an indictment by the grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for most misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf by subpoena, the right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to, no presumption of guilt may be raised. And then finally, as I said earlier, you have the right to an attorney to represent you. Now, some of you, ladies and gentlemen, will be allowed to post a bond for yourself for your release pending the prosecution of your case. And you can do it in a couple ways that we're going to go over. You can post bond by cash or by commercial or property. If you post a bond by cash, that means either yourself or someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash with any fees here to the sheriff's office. And the sheriff's office will hold on to that until your final court date, at which time the bond will be returned to the person who posted it. Now, if you use a commercial bonding company in the alternative, bonding companies typically will request as fees anywhere from 10 to 15% of the actual bond, and they keep that. And so as an example, ladies and gentlemen, if your bond this morning were $2,000 and you decide to use a bonding company instead of attempting to pay cash, you would pay roughly about $350 to the bonding company that they would keep. Now, some of you all I mentioned may have the ability to use what are called property bonds. If you or someone you know has 3 times the amount of equity as your bond in the property that they have, they're allowed to bring their deed to that property down to the sheriff's office. The sheriff will again hold on to that deed until your case is closed, and then it can be returned. But again, they have to have 3 times that equity in their home currently. So once again, if your property is your bond is $2,000, they have to have at least $6,000 in equity. Now, in addition to the bond and types of ways that you may be able to bond out, some of you all, ladies and gentlemen, are also going to have what are called bond restrictions on your bond this morning. Now, what that means is after reviewing either your criminal history and or the allegations that are made by the law enforcement during the time of your arrest, there may be conditions that either of you have to abide by. Some examples would be to stay away from certain areas while your case is pending, to stay away from certain people while your case has been pending. And then all of you, of course, will be required to not violate the law in any way in any county or state while you're on bond. I strongly suggest that, this is one of those things that you pay close attention to, because your failure to not follow those special conditions could result in additional charges. The example I would use, if there are some of you who are charged with violent offenses where you're involved with other people, it's likely that my bond condition is going to say that you cannot return to where the offense occurred, or that you cannot have contact with that person. Now, if you live with that person, that means you're going to have to find somewhere else to live for the time being, or unless that bond is modified. If you are related to that person, married to that person is a husband, wife, dad, mom, you are to have no contact, if I say so, according to this bond, until such time as that bond is modified. So in the meantime, if you have items there at that property, I will allow you to go with the sheriff's office as your escort to obtain any items that you need. But you are not, ladies and gentlemen, to go there alone should you make bond. Now, for family members who will assist you in posting bond, they will be provided information in order to do so. But let me remind you that if it is a family member that is the victim, the alleged victim in your case, they cannot post bond for you. Now, some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In that event, I will tell you a bond hearing will be scheduled for you before a Superior Court judge, and you will be informed of that date. If there are any people who are actively on probation, this court is also not authorized to set a bond for you. Your bond, however, can be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of your probation, usually during your preliminary hearing. Now, I will, in addition to all the things I've talked about so far, as in telling you what your charges are, telling when your next court date is, that will be the next part of it, which is to tell you for whether you are charged with a misdemeanor or a felony, when your next court date will be. If you are charged with a misdemeanor, you will have a preliminary hearing date scheduled on March 7th. If you are charged with a felony, you will have a preliminary hearing date charged on either March 6th or March 8th. And then if you are also charged with a felony, you will also be given a bond hearing date here as well. Lastly, one of the last things I also want to make sure that I remind you all, if I give you a bond today and you post that bond, and I also tell you that you have a preliminary hearing date, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived and you will be mailed a notice when to appear in court for your arraignment. If you cannot make bond, you may waive your preliminary hearing and be taken before a state court judge or a superior court judge, at which time, if you plead guilty, you will be sentenced. If you plead not guilty, of course, a trial will be scheduled at a later date. Now, I believe that's all that I have. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with, I believe we have the females up front first. And then after the females, of course, we will move on to the males. And then lastly, I believe, again, we have two Hispanic individuals for which we will need the interpreter. My understanding is that Miss Asia Henderson has bonded out. Miss Nanduka will need an interpreter.
Yes, sir. There's 3 that actually need an interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay, and who is the third?
The third one is Mr.
I believe I have Miss Nanduka and I have Mr. Narciso Hernandez as being the 2 that need an interpreter.
Yeah, Mr. Chavo.
Okay. Okay. So the remaining females I have a Miss Antonina Skipwith. Miss Skipwith, are you present? Miss Skipwith, if you could come up just a little closer so I can make sure you hear me. Miss Skipwith, is that you? Okay. Miss Skipwith, you're charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting. Your bond is in the amount of $2,000. Miss Skipwith, you do have a special condition, of course, is to not violate any laws while on bond. You are also to stay away from the address where this alleged theft occurred. That's 2600 Maynard Jackson Boulevard here in Atlanta. Do you understand that, Ms. Skipwith?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Ms. Skipwith, I was reviewing all of the information here. I see that you may not have gotten an opportunity to fill out everything, but let me ask you this, Ms. Skipwith. Do you have an attorney at this time?
No, I self-represent.
I'm sorry?
I represent myself while in the United States.
Okay. Well, Ms. Skipwith, for the time being, I am going to go ahead and speak to you about a court-appointed attorney. If you do wish to ultimately represent yourself, you can advise the court-appointed attorney at the appropriate time, as well as the judge who will be presiding over your case. Okay?
And when is the preliminary hearing for which an arraignment can be?
So for misdemeanors, ma'am, the preliminary hearings are scheduled for March 7th. But in the interim, you do have the opportunity to post bond. If you're unable to do so, then that will be your next court date.
Which would be when?
March 7th. That's what I was telling you. But let's talk about one thing at a time. So let me ask you this: are you currently working, Ms. Skipwith?
I've been arrested by representatives of the United States government twice. One for attempting to work,
Ms.
and the
Skipwith,
other for
Ms.
attempting to
Skipwith.
leave for work.
Ms.
So,
Skipwith, answer the question that he's asked.
I'm sorry. Do I need interference to respond in the way
Ms.
that I choose?
Ms. Skipwith, I'm gonna ask you one more time. Are you currently working, ma'am?
I have been arrested twice by the United States
Okay,
government.
thank you,
One
Ms.
for-
Skipwith. Ms. Skipwith, thank you. If you're not gonna answer me, then I'm gonna go ahead and appoint you an attorney. They will speak to you. Your next court
I
date,
am
Ms. Skipwith, your next court date is going to be March 7th, 2022, excuse me, 2023 via Zoom. Do you understand that, Ms. Skipwith?
And a month from,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you there, ma'am.
I do not understand being unlawfully incarcerated and being refused amnesty a month from today. I do not understand that.
Okay, well, I've tried to explain that to you here this morning, ma'am. If you have been charged with an offense here in Clayton County, for which you do have to go before a judge in order to discuss that. But at this time, I've advised you, Ms. Skipwith, your bond is $2,000. You're to stay away from 2600 Maynard Jackson Boulevard. Your next court date is going to be March 7th at 8:30 a.m. It's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand at least what I've told you this morning, ma'am?
until I post bond, March 7th is, if I post bond today, i.e. I leave today.
Yes, ma'am, you can
I,
leave today. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, ma'am. Go ahead.
If I post bond today, then I can leave until my court date.
So what would happen is I was mentioning earlier, if you are able to post your bond, then the last known address that the sheriff's office has for you on file will receive any updated court dates that you have. And so you would need to then check your mail regularly, and they will give you whatever your new court date is going to be.
Is there a reason why I need to be in a co-ed facility? They won't let me wear my hijab. Can I be in a single-sex facility?
Unfortunately, ma'am, that's not within my purview. That's the sheriff's office. But do you understand the information I've given you?
Understand that.
Okay. All right, Ms. Skipwith. Well, I'm gonna move on to the next person, but thank you, ma'am, and good luck to you. Next is going to be Ms. Danielle Whitmore. Or Danielle Whitmore, excuse me. Are you Ms. Whitmore?
Yes, sir, I am.
Ms. Whitmore, you are charged with 1 count of battery. Your bond is in the amount of $5,000. You do have special conditions, and those are to stay away from Ms. Kenyatta Bush. You are also to stay away from the address of 5958 Sherwood Place. As I mentioned earlier, if you have any items there, or until such time as your bond is modified, you will have to contact the sheriff's office in order to be escorted down there. Do you understand?
I fully understand. I do have a concern though. I could bond out, but when they came over, instead of them giving, grabbing my keys and my purse to bring with me, they gave it to that person. So I have no way to bond out if she got my stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they know nobody's bonding me out. So I was bonding myself out, but how can I do that if they gave my pocketbook and my car keys to her? So is there a way that I could do a signature bond? Because my kids got doctor's appointments and I could have been bonded out.
Well, unfortunately, ma'am, I'm not permitted to do a signature bond here today especially on this type of allegation. And that's an unfortunate set of circumstances, but that's sort of outside of my ability to change that. However, let me ask you this. Are you working right now?
Yeah, I gotta start work. That's why I said my sons I have a special needs sons. Nobody knows they have doctor's appointments. Nobody, because everybody's calling my phone and I can't do nothing if they gave all my stuff to her.
Ms. Whitmore, that's not answering my question. So my question is not, are you starting work? Are you currently working? Do you have a current job or is this a new job?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How much are you making per month, ma'am?
I just started that job, so I don't know. Right now, I just been door dashing until I start that job.
Okay, so here's I'm not as the judge permitted to give you advice, but based on the information that you have told me here today, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. And so what I would suggest to you is if you are unable to make bond, given the situation that you just described to me, to speak to your court-appointed attorney and let them assist you in making sure that any items that you need to obtain that are not currently, on your person or with someone else, they may be able to assist you there. So my suggestion is to you to speak with them. Unfortunately, I don't have any authority to change that.
I understand. I try to get somebody on the outside, but they say she's not giving them none of that property so they can, that's the thing. I can get bonded out, but she's not releasing none of them, my pocketbook and stuff, so I can get out because I can't stay in here until March the 7th.
Yes, ma'am. No, I understand. But again, unfortunately, that's outside my purview to be able to change that at this time. But I've given you all the information that I have and this morning. And so all I can do at this point is tell you good luck. And you obviously are aware of your upcoming court date should you not be able to bond out, okay?
So thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Judge,
Yes, sir.
can we go out of order for like 1 second?
Sure, who do you need?
On the mails, Mr. Schubert, he's got a video appointment at 10:30, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Let me grab his information here. And you can bring him up on camera.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Judge.
Yes,
What's
sir.
his name? Schubert?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you Mr.
Joshua?
Schubert?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me 1 second, Mr. Schubert. Right. All right, Mr. Shubik, you are charged with one count of aggravated assault. Sorry, give me one more second here. Here we go. You were charged with one count of aggravated assault here. Sir, after reviewing both your history as well as the allegations here, I've made the decision this morning to deny you bond. And again, that's taking into account everything that I saw here this morning that was before me. Let me ask you this, Mr. Shubik, are you currently working?
No, I've been locked up 4 years.
So what I'm gonna do, sir, is I'm gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney here this morning. Your next court date is going to be March 6th of this year, 2023 via Zoom. You're also gonna have a bond hearing. And I believe those bond hearings are, and I will double check for you here, March 10th. And that's gonna be also 2023 via Zoom. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No. No, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Close the doors. All right, Judge, we're on you then.
All right, next I have, this is a Mr. Marquise Backus.
Yes, sir. On his way, Judge.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Are you Mr. Backus?
Yep. Yes,
All
sir.
right, Mr. Backus, you are charged with one count of improper turn, improper signal. Your bond is $500. You are charged with hit and run. Your bond there is $1,500. You are charged with open container violation. Your bond there is $500. And then finally, misdemeanor possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. You have a total bond in the amount of $4,000. The only other thing I will add is that, of course, you are to violate no laws while you are on bond. Do you believe you're going to make bond, sir?
Yes, sir. I have bond already.
Okay. As far as an attorney, are you currently working? I see you are, sir.
Yeah, that work.
Okay. Are you going to hire your own attorney, or would you like the court to appoint you one?
I'm gonna try to get my own.
I'm sorry, what was that, Mr. Backus?
I'm gonna try to get my own lawyer.
Okay, so in the interim, what I am going to do, sir, is until such time as you're able to hire one, I am going to appoint a court-appointed attorney here based on the information you provided. And what you can do is you can tell your attorney that when he is appointed, that he can then file what is called a substitution of appearance for you. And then he will take over as your attorney, okay?
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
With the bond, so once they go up there, you said it's 4,000, right? Well, a little over 4,000 change. So when they
It's
go up there,
4,000. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
my bad. So when they go up there to the bail bondsman, that's the way they do the percentage, right?
It's going to be roughly, and of course, this is an estimate, but it's going to be roughly about 10 to 15% of that $4,000. And then whatever you give them for payment, that is theirs to keep.
Okay, and then with that, I'd be able to go ahead and go home.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and one thing, I don't know, you know, Mr. Jackson told me to ask you, he said, for the misdemeanor felony in the marijuana, he said she wrote the wrong coding down for 2 of them. He told me to let you know that when I got here.
She wrote,
She said, he said she wrote the wrong coding for the marijuana and when she did a typo, but he said to let you know, he said you should be able to see it. I don't know necessarily know what code, but I just know he told me to let you know that. He said he was trying to get an OR for me. He said, but she had to come up here for it, but she was off food already. And then the supervisor and the Cobra sheriff, he came out here and said same stuff.
so what I've got before me here actually, sir, is the 161330. And it's also in the body of the warrant. So right now, for the purposes of probable cause, she's done it now. Now, if counsel or the judge at a later time finds discrepancy with that, they can of course change it. But this time, you know, thank you for bringing that to my attention, but I'm not gonna change your bond or dismiss that charge at this time.
So I just be able to go ahead and call my folks for the binder.
Yes, sir. All right. All right. Thank you, sir.
For sure.
Next up, I believe this is Mr. Al Hussein Ba.
Yes, my honor.
Are you Mr. Ba?
Yes, my honor.
Mr. Ba, you were charged with one count of criminal trespass. Mr. Ba, I reviewed your criminal arrest warrant here this morning with the information that was provided by the law enforcement officer. I've actually gone ahead and dismissed your charges. And so when the sheriff's office at the appropriate time has an opportunity, you are free to go, sir, today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And can I have a question?
Yes,
My
sir.
honor. If you say you dismiss the charge, I am a limo driver. Is it possible to lift the criminal transfers, or I don't understand that part?
That's outside of my jurisdiction here today, sir. So that would be something that would have to be done by someone else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have Mr. Calvin Barber.
Calvin Barber. Calvin?
Go back where you came from. Go back where you came from. Yeah, go back to your.
No. That's what I asked you. I said, is he here? You said, no. I got to do
Hello, are you Mr. Barber?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Barber, you are charged with one count of crossing a roadway at a other than a crosswalk. Your bond there is $500. You are charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Your bond amount there is $8,000. And then lastly, you are charged with theft by receipt of stolen property. Your bond amount there is $5,000 for a total bond in the amount of $13,500. Of course, you are to not violate any laws while on bond. Mr. Barber, do you believe that you'll be able to make bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
And are you going to hire
Well,
your own attorney, or do you want the court to consider appointing one for you?
The court.
Okay. So I've reviewed the information here that you provided for us, sir. You do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So I have gone ahead and appointed you one. Your next court date is going to be your preliminary hearing, and that's going to be on March 6th of 2023 via Zoom. And then you also have a bond hearing on March 10th of 2023 via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir. Can I ask the officer for opinion so I can write down my amount?
That's between you and the officer.
What was the amount?
It was $13,500.
13,500. And this don't qualify for no OR, does it?
No, sir. All right, that's all I have for you, sir. So good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have Hassan Bimazabute.
What was 13,500?
Yeah, 13,000.
Hassan, he's been released.
Okay.
Hassan number 4?
Yes.
Yes, he's been released.
All right.
Chavo is next, but
Yep.
I
we
mixed
need
him up.
to- Yep. So
No, it's
after-
actually Garcia.
Oh, so it is not Mr. Chavo?
Correct. It's Garcia that needs a translator.
Okay, so let's bring on Mr. Chavo then. Right, good morning. Are you Mr. Chavo?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Chavo, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass and one count of obstruction of an officer. As to the criminal trespass, your bond is in the amount of $2,000. As the obstruction of an officer, your bond is in the amount of $2,000 for a total bond of $4,000. You do have special conditions, and that is to stay away from the Hartsfield Airport unless you are for travel purposes. and of course, to not violate any laws while on bond. Are you currently working, sir? Okay, would you like the court to appoint you an attorney?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, based on the information that you provided, to go ahead and appoint you an attorney this morning. Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 7th of 2023 via Zoom for your preliminary hearing. Do you understand that, sir? Do you have any questions of me?
I can't get no signature, bro.
No, sir.
Why I can't do that?
Sir, with the charges that against you, that is not permitted this morning. Anything else, sir?
All right, come on.
All right, thank you. Next up, I have, I believe this is Mr. Arthur Gibson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Gibson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibson, you're charged with one count of public transportation theft of tokens. Your bond is in the amount of $500. You do have a special condition, Mr. Gibson, that is to stay away from Clarksville Airport unless you are there for the purpose of traveling. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
No, I do not. I do not. I'd
Okay.
like to ask for a signature, please, if you can. I
Sure.
don't have the money.
Unfortunately, sir, I'm not permitted to do that this morning. I am gonna, however, go ahead, based on the information since you provided that you are not working, appoint you a court-appointed attorney here this morning. And so that if you are unable, as you said, to make bond, they will be able to.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. I think they cut the phone.
Judge, you're muted.
I'm sorry here, I think I hit it by accident. What I was saying was I'm gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney. And so then that way, if you are unable to make bond, as you mentioned, then they will be able to speak to you about that, okay?
Is that, am I next court date or is, what is that?
Well,
Today or-
they'll come before that next court date. Your next court date is gonna be your preliminary hearing at on March 7th of 2023. But in between there, you are going to be able to speak to your court-appointed attorney. And if they're able to resolve your case short of you having to sit in custody, then that's what they'll be able to do for you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up, I have Mr. Matthew Gruber.
Stand, I'm gonna send him with you, okay?
Good morning. Are you Mr. Gruber?
Morning.
Mr. Gruber, you are charged with one count of aggravated assault. Mr. Gruber, I've reviewed everything this morning provided to me by law enforcement, and based on what I have of that in your criminal history, I understand, Mr. Gruber, that the allegations are against Miss Linda Kennard. So based on everything I have, Mr. Gruber, I'm going to go ahead and deny bond this morning. However, if at a later time you are granted a bond by a different judge and or a different court, I am going to put in place a couple conditions here, and they are that you stay away from Miss Linda Kennard, that you also stay away from the address of 6711 Cameron Road in Morrow. And then finally, of course, if you have items there, until such time as your bond is modified, you are only allowed to use the sheriff to obtain those items. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gruber, are you currently working?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney here to assist you. Your next court date, Mr. Gruber, is going to be March 6th of 2023. That's going to be via Zoom for your preliminary hearing. And then you'll also have a bond hearing date on March 10th of 2023 via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
Your Honor.
All right. Any other questions of me?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Well, good luck to you. Thank you. Next up, I have Mr. Shadon Hayes. Or Shadon Hayes.
So.
Are you Mr. Hayes?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Hayes, you are charged with one count of obstruction or hindering a law enforcement in the bond amount of $2,000. Fleeing from a police officer, your bond is $4,000. And then finally, theft by receipt, also a bond amount of $4,000 for a total bond of $10,000. The only special condition I have for you is to not violate the laws while you're on bond, sir. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Sir.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. Are you gonna hire your own attorney, or do you want the court to consider appointing you one?
Court.
All right, so reviewing what you have provided here. Am I correct? You said you make about, is that a 3 or an 8?
8.
Okay, and that's per month?
Yeah.
Okay. And so unfortunately, based on the information that you provided, sir, you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney. However, your next court date is going to be March 7th of 2023 for your preliminary hearing. In the interim, of course, if you do bond out, then that preliminary hearing is waived, and then your next court date will be sent to you via mail. Do you understand that? Any other questions for me, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Mr. Donald Ray Knight.
Here I am.
Are you Mr. Knight?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know
Mis- Mr. Knight, you are charged with 1 count of no license. Your bond is $1,000. 1 count of a violation of seatbelt law. Your bond is $500 for a total bond of $1,500, sir. Do you believe you'll be able to make your bond?
What's the deal with the no license? I have a driver's license.
Well, according to the information that I have here, it looks like they had you as not having one at the time when you were arrested. And so that may be, or excuse me, I apologize. I'm sorry, sir. What's your name again?
Knight, Donald Knight.
I apologize. I'm sorry, Mr. Knight. I was looking at the wrong, thank you for catching that. I was looking at the wrong paper. Mr. Knight, let's start back over. You're charged with open container for $500 in your bond. DUI, your bond amount is $4,000. Driving on the wrong side of the road, your bond amount is $500. And then possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana, your bond amount is $1,500. So again, open container for $500, DUI for $4,000, wrong side of the road is $500, and possession of less than 1 ounce is also $500. So that's a total bond amount of $6,500 with a special condition simply to not violate the laws while you're on bond. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I apologize again for that. I was looking at something else. So your next court date is going to be your preliminary hearing, which is going to be March 27th of 2023. And that's going to be via Zoom. Do you believe you'll be able to make your bond, sir?
I'm not sure about that. That's a lot of dough.
Okay. Are you currently working, sir?
I'm retired from
Okay.
Social Security.
And about how much do you bring in per month on Social Security?
$830.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, sir, here today is go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney to discuss with you your case and assist you. And so what they'll do is they're going to come out if you're unable to make that bond and speak to you and assist you with your case. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other questions with me, sir?
No.
All right, sir. Well, good luck to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up, I have Mr. Xavier Luster.
Hey, Joe. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Are you Mr. Luster?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Luster, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Mr. Luster, I reviewed your criminal history, and according to what I have, you're currently on felony probation out of DeKalb Superior Court. Based on that, sir, I'm not permitted this morning to grant you a bond on this case. The law absolutely prohibits me from doing that. However, sir, should you at a later time make bond, I am going to add here as a special condition that you are to stay away from Miss India Smith. She is the alleged victim, of course, in the matter. And that you're also to stay away from the address of 6726 Terra Boulevard here in Jonesboro, Georgia, which is where they're alleging that the incident happened. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, I just wanted to add to the case as well. Just a complete misunderstanding.
You don't
about-
want to know that.
Okay, so Mr. Lester, remember when I said earlier, you want to be careful about what you say to me for a couple reasons. There are several witnesses here, and this is also recorded. So that's something for your lawyer and for a later judge, okay? I'm just here to help you with setting your bond and making sure you're aware of your next upcoming court dates, okay?
Yes, sir. No, I also just ask, this is crazy, Judge, because Miss India Smith, she did not want to proceed with.
Okay, hold on. You're doing it again. So Mr. Luster, I can't ask you any more questions if you're going to talk about the facts. Let's focus on this. I see here that you're working. You're making about $2,500 a month. Is that correct?
Overtime, more than that, sir. I have a good job.
Okay.
Apartment, car.
So based on that, sir, you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney, unfortunately. So you will have to hire your own attorney. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
How can I make bond if you just said I don't,
Well, I mean, I guess what I'm asking, the reason I asked that question, I mean, you may get a bond at a later date, but given Mr. Luster here that you are set as no bond, based on what I reviewed today, we'll just move on from that. Other than that, your next court date is going to be March 7th of 2023, where you'll get your preliminary hearing. Do you have any other questions about your bond or your next court date? Nothing about the facts of your case, sir. So Mr. Luster, you don't want to tell me anything about a victim or about what happened or may not have happened. Anything else from you, sir?
Judge, is there any way I can get a sooner date to get out?
No,
sooner?
sir. No, sir.
Let's go, Lester. Let's go.
Thank
You gotta
you.
go, man.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Mr. Wayland Marcus Lloyd. Are you Mr. Lloyd?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Mr. Lloyd, you are charged with one count of theft by receipt of stolen property. Your bond is in the amount of $5,000. Your only special condition is to make sure that you stay away, that you don't violate any of the laws here in the state while you're on bond. Do you believe you'll be able to make that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hold on.
Do
Yes, sir, Judge.
you want the court to consider you for a court-appointed attorney, or are you going to hire your own?
Court.
Okay. So I see here that you are working. About how
Yes,
much
sir.
approximately are you earning per month?
I say like 3,500.
Okay. You still have that job at which time you are released?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So based on what you provided to me, sir, you don't qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So you will have to hire your own.
Yes, sir.
Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 6th of 2023 via Zoom.
Yes,
And
sir.
you're also going to get a bond hearing date of March 10th of 2023, okay?
All right.
All right, Mr. Lloyd, do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
All right, I believe that's all I have for you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I was trying to get you on that train, man.
Are you Mr. Lott?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Lott, you were charged with one count of fleeing from a police officer, one count of reckless driving, one count of a red light violation, and one count of possession of marijuana of 1 ounce. So I reviewed the warrant here for your case, Mr. Lott, and I found several things that could have been done a little differently to make this warrant a little clearer. So based on what I have before me, I am dismissing your case. But Mr. Lott, let me explain something to you. Because I'm dismissing it here today does not mean that the prosecutor cannot bring these charges back against you. Do you understand that?
Yes,
And
sir.
so, if there's anything that I can provide to you or suggest to you, Mr. Lott, is that to be careful, in the interim, so that you're not ending up here at a later date. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Lott, in the meantime, you will be released at the time that is permissible by the sheriff's office, and you'll be free pending either a accusation or indictment by a prosecutor. But otherwise, you are free to go here today, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next up, I have Mr., I believe this is Martin Maxwell. Are you Mr. Max? Okay.
This is Mr. May.
What, are you Mr. Maxwell?
Where's Maxwell? Is it- Okay, just let him know he's gonna do it last.
We're gonna do,
Okay.
Mr. Maxwell last.
You are Mr. Maxwell, correct?
Mr. May.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. He's whispering.
He's Mr. May, Deontay May.
Okay, Mr. May, okay.
We're gonna do Maxwell last.
We're doing Maxwell last, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. May. You are charged with one count, Mr. May, of aggravated assault, one count of battery, and one count of interference with government property. The information I have here before me, Mr. May, is that you are currently on probation out of Fulton County Superior Court. And based on the information, sir, I am not permitted to grant you bond on any of these charges here today. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you currently working, Mr. May?
I've been locked up 2 years. I'm quite sure you said in the system.
Okay. So based on that, Mr. May, I'm going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney this morning to assist you on your case. So your next court date is going to be March 6th of 2023 via Zoom. And then you're also going to have a bond hearing date set for you of March 10th of 2023 via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, if you don't have any other questions for me, I believe that's all I have of you, sir. Thank you. Next up, I should have Gregory Pinkston. Are you Mr. Pinkston?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pinkston, you're charged with possession of over 1 ounce of marijuana. Your bond amount is $1,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
Your Honor, it was definitely not over an ounce. But yes,
Oh, excuse me, I apologize. Possession of less than 1 ounce. But that bond amount is $1,500, sir. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
I can try. I can make a call and see what can happen.
Do you want the court to consider you for a court-appointed attorney, or are you going to try to hire your own, sir?
Court appointed, please.
And you are not working, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So based on the information you provided, sir, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. And your next court date, should you be unable to make your bond, is going to be March 7th of 2023, okay? All right, good luck to you, sir. Are you Mr. Roberts?
No, sir. Shepherd.
What's your last name, sir?
Shepherd.
I'm sorry, I'm having
Shepherd.
trouble hearing. Shepherd, okay. Okay, I see Mr. Roberts was released. Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Shepherd. Is that Mr. Alexander Shepherd? Is that your name?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Shepherd, you're charged with 1 count of carrying a weapon in an unauthorized area, that being a school. Your bond is in the amount of $3,000. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information provided, do you currently still have that job?
If I get out, hopefully.
How long have
I'm sorry.
you had that job?
About 6 months.
Okay. Unfortunately, based on the information that you provided, sir, you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney. And so you will have to hire your own at this point. If that changes, of course, you know, a later judge can reconsider your circumstances. Do you understand that? Right. You don't have anything else further for me, sir. Your next court date is going to be March 6th of 2023. You also will have a bond hearing date of March 10th of 2023 via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up, I believe I have, is it Mr. Trey?
Yes, sir.
I have no idea, so I don't know what's inside the jail.
Mr. Stray, you're charged with one count of possession of marijuana. Your bond is in the amount of $1,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
I'm not, I don't think so.
Okay. Would you like the court to consider you for a court-appointed attorney, or are you gonna hire your own?
I was gonna represent myself, I guess.
Okay, well, and down the line, you do have the ability to do that, but for today, based on the information that you provided, sir, I am gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney. Now, if ultimately you decide that you wanna represent yourself, that's more than fine. You just need to let that lawyer know. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, so your next court date, sir, if you are unable to make bond, is gonna be March 7th of 2023 for your preliminary hearing, okay?
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, I have Shane Tackett.
CS1, please, CS1.
Are you Mr. Tackett?
Sir.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Tackett. All right, Mr. Tackett, you are charged with multiple counts of computer pornography and/or child exploitation. I have a total of 10 counts here. For each count, your bond is in the amount of $10,000. Okay, so counts 1 through 10, each bond amount is $10,000 for a total bond of $100,000. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
If you are to make bond, the only stipulation that I have is that you are not to violate any other laws here in the state of Georgia or in the United States. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you want the court to consider for you for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
So you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 6th of 2023. That's going to be via Zoom for your preliminary hearing. And then your next court date after that, you will get a bond hearing on March 10th of 2023. Do you understand that, Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
All right, sir. Well, if you don't have anything else for me, that's all I have, sir. Good luck to you.
Wrong way, wrong way.
Going to the trip, man. Going to the trip.
Next up, I believe I have Mr. Cedric Walker.
Walker, okay. Judge, he's gonna be one of the last
Okay.
one to go. Thank you, sir.
And I'm sorry, Deputy, what happened with Maxwell Martin again?
Maxwell.
He's the other one that's in there.
Okay, yes, he's also, that's the one we talked about, Judge. He's gonna go last too.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had him.
Yes, sir.
Is it this? Okay. So next I should have, I believe, are you Mr. Weston?
No,
This is Mr. Whitmoreland. Mr. Weston's on suicide watch.
that ain't easy.
And I'm sorry, sir, couldn't hear you. What's your name?
Wiggins.
Wiggins? Okay, give me 1 second, sir.
Frazier.
1 second, Mr. Wiggins. So, Mr. Wiggins, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of battery, and 1 count of interference with government property. Based on the information I've provided, sir, and the allegations here, I have denied you bond for each count. So no bond on aggravated assault, no bond on the battery, and no bond on the interference with government property. Are you currently working, sir? It looks like you've been in for some time. Is that right? So you're not working, correct? So based on that information, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney. Do you understand that? Your next court date is going to be March 6th of 2023 for your preliminary hearing. And then after that, you have a bond hearing on March 10th of 2023. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
All right, that's all I have for you. Good luck to you. And so, Deputy, do we have are you Mr. Young?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Young, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of battery, and 1 count of interference with government property. My review of your criminal history shows that you're currently on felony probation out of Carroll County. And so based on that, sir, I'm not permitted pursuant to 1710-1 to consider bond for any of these charges. So you're on a no bond status for this case. Do you understand that? Okay.
So do it show I'm on current probation for Clay County as well?
Yeah, it's got Carroll County case. Your case number is 21 CR 01071.
You don't say I'm currently on probation for Clay?
It says you are.
All right, because I was in here on the VOP, but I ain't got nothing to do with this. I was just
So if ultimately that's incorrect, sir, then at a later time when you have an opportunity to speak with your attorney, that will be the opportunity to correct that, okay? All right.
all
As
these are
far
felonies.
as you're a court-appointed attorney, I show that you've been in custody for a while here, so I'm assuming you haven't been working, is that right? Okay. So I am gonna go ahead and appoint you an attorney here this morning. Your next
All
court
of these-
date, Mr. Young, is gonna be March 6th of 2023. And then your bond hearing is gonna be March 10th, 2023. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
All of these felony charges, all right.
Yes, they are all felony charges.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Deputy, I think all of the ones I had left were the ones we put to the end. So whomever you want to call up next.
Okay, yes, we're gonna do Maxwell, Judge, Martin
Okay.
Maxwell.
All right. All right, so I've got Mr. Martin Maxwell when you're ready.
You can go get Walker. Stand right here, sir, might be a tall guy, so let me see if I can.
Are you Mr. Maxwell?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, Mr. Maxwell, you are charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct. Mr. Maxwell, your bond is in the amount of $1,500. You do have one condition special condition, and that's to stay away from Hartsville Airport unless you are there for travel. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you believe you'll be able to make your bond, sir?
Yes, yes.
Do you want the court to hire you an attorney, or are you gonna be able to purchase your own?
The court can just give me whatever attorney they want to give me.
So based on the information you provided, sir, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so I have gone ahead and appointed you one. And your next court day is going to be for your preliminary hearing. That's going to be March 7th of 2023 if you're unable to make your bond, okay?
Thank you.
All right, sir, just one last thing. If in fact you do make that bond, since I don't know you were out here when I spoke about this earlier, if in fact you make the bond before your next court date, any future court dates will be mailed to your last known address, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, Deputy, who's up next?
Walker.
All right,
I'll put it up for you, Walker. You're 6'6", so.
are you Mr. Stedrick Walker?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Walker, you're charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct, 1 count of criminal trespass, and your bond is in the amount of $1,500 for the disorderly conduct, $1,500 for the criminal trespass, for a total bond of $3,000. You do have a special condition here, and that is to not violate any laws while you're on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I'm also going to add here that you stay away from the address, and that address is 7021 Terra Boulevard. I believe it was a particular hotel. Do you understand that as well, sir?
Yeah, I'll stay in there. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you believe you'll be able to make your bond, sir?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think so.
I see you
I can
just
try.
started working, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm trying to get back to work as fast as I can.
So on that, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney to assist you with your case. What'll happen is they will continue in the jail, discuss your case with you, and assist you in any way they can if you're unable to make the bond. Your next court date, sir, is going to be your preliminary hearing if you're unable to make a bond of March 7th, 2023. If you make your bond before then, your next court date will be sent to you via mail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I believe that's all I have, Mr. Walker. Thank you. All right, Deputy, who do you have next?
We have the 3 Hispanics, Judge, the Spanish speaking.
Okay.
Two males and 1 female.
And Miss, let me get her again here. I believe I know. I believe that's Miss Nanduka. Is a female. Is that correct, Deputy? Miss Nanduka was a female?
Let me see. I got it right here, Judge.
So if we want to do Laura Nanduka first, that would be great.
Yes, I have her, Judge.
Okay, so just give me one moment here and I'm going to try to get the interpreters on the line.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, if you do, I want to swear you in first. Mr. Interpreter, if you would, please raise your right hand.
Alrighty.
Do you swear or affirm that the interpretation that you're going to do here this morning in the Clayton County Magistrate Court before this being Associate Magistrate Judge, Judge Marcus Thorpe, will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. Let me see if I can get that done. So up first, Mr. Interpreter, I have a Miss Laura Nanduka. And what I want to start off with is tell her that she is charged with her fourth offense of DUI, and her bond amount is $20,000. If you would please tell her that.
Señor, usted en su cuarto cargo de conducir bajo la influencia y su fianza sería de $20,000.
Her second charge is driving with a suspended license, and her bond amount is $1,500 for that charge.
Uno cargo que se le está presentando es conducir con una licencia suspendida, el cual requiere de una fianza de $1,500.
Her third charge is improper lane change, and her bond amount is $500 for that charge.
Hello, this is the interpreter. I'm so sorry. May you please repeat the third charge?
Improper lane change, and her bond amount is $500.
All right. Okay, entonces es el cambio de carriles inapropiados con una fianza de $500.
And then her fourth charge is failure to exercise due care, and her bond amount for that charge is $1,000.
Oh, this is interpreter. I'm sorry, just to confirm. You said the bond amount is $5,000?
$1,000.
Thank you so much. Entonces, necesitas tu cuarto cargo del día de hoy es la inoportunidad de presentar de manera exitosa el ejercicio de cuidado debido. Tu fianza es de $1,000.
So that makes her total bond for all four charges $23,000.
Haciendo que el cargo total para esta fianza sería de $23,000.
Okay. Now, please tell her I see that she is not working, and so what I would like to do this morning is to appoint a lawyer to assist her.
Okay, entonces, como ves, usted no está trabajando en el momento, lo que gustaría hacer en esta mañana es apuntarle un abogado para trabajar con usted.
Now, because this is her fourth felony DUI, her next court date is going to be March 6th of 2023 at 8:30 a.m.
Esto es su cuarto cargo de conducir bajo la influencia. La próxima audiencia será el 6 de marzo 2023 a las 8:30 de la mañana.
And then she will also have a bond hearing date on March 10th of 2023 at 8:30 a.m. as well.
Luego, usted tendrá una audiencia de fianza, de igual manera, el 10 de marzo de 2023 a las 8:30 también.
If you would, Mr. Interpreter, can you ask her if she has any questions for me?
¿Tienes alguna pregunta para mí?
I don't believe, Deputy, did she say anything? I don't think she had any questions. Is that correct? Can you all hear me, Deputy?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, she want to know the court date again, Judge, court date.
Okay, it was March, Mr. Interpreter, if you would tell her, the court date is going to be March 6th of 2023 via Zoom. And then the second will be March 10th, 2020.
La fecha de corte sería para el 6 de marzo a las 8:30.
¿Y eso sería para qué corte? ¿Para mis cargos ya?
Do you have any other questions, ma'am?
Speak up louder, louder.
It's okay.
You good?
Okay, I think she is good to go, Mr. Interpreter. If you could just tell her thank you.
Gracias.
Okay. And let's see. If we could have Mr. Garcia next, please. Okay.
Voy a tener, por favor.
Mr. Interpreter, if you would tell Mr. Garcia he is charged with 2 counts of possession of a weapon on school property.
Diferentes cargos. Arma. Propiedad escolar.
Mr. Interpreter, if you would tell Mr. Garcia that his bond amount for each charge is $6,000 for a total bond amount of $12,000.
Por cada uno se le colocará una fianza de $6,000 con una cantidad total de fianza de $12,000.
Mr. Interpreter, if you would please ask Mr. Garcia if he has any questions about his bond.
¿Alguna pregunta el día de hoy?
No.
Mr. Interpreter, if you would tell Mr. Garcia that his next court date for his charges will be March 6th of 2023.
Entonces, su fecha de audiencia de corte sería para este marzo 6, 2023.
Okay.
All right, then, if you would, Mr. Interpreter, please tell him good luck, and that's all I have.
Buena suerte, y eso es todo lo que tengo que decir.
And Deputy, does that leave us? Is that Mr. Hernandez? Okay. Mr. Interpreter, if you would tell Mr. Hernandez he is charged with 1 count of no license in the bond amount of $1,000 and 1 count of no seatbelt in the amount of $500.
Señor, y usted está siendo cargado por un acontecimiento de conducir sin licencia por $1,000 y una de no tener identidad por $500.
Mr. Interpreter, if you would tell him that gives him a total bond amount of $1,500 and that his next court date is March 7th of 2023.
Y eso sería una cantidad de fianza total de $1,500 con la próxima fecha de audiencia en corte el 7 de marzo de 2023.
¿El 7 de marzo o 17?
Did you hear that, Mr. Interpreter? Okay, give me 1 second. Were you able to hear that, Mr. Interpreter? You want?
March 17th.
Do you want me to have him repeat it?
Oh, no, I heard him say, did you say March 17th?
Okay. If you could tell him no, March 7th.
No, señor, es marzo 7.
Marzo 7, ok, está bien.
If you would, Mr. Interpreter, tell him, I believe that's all I have for him, and just say thank you.
Ok, es todo lo que tengo por usted. Gracias.
Gracias.
All right, Mr. Interpreter, I believe that's all we have. Just give me one moment just to confirm. And Deputy, I believe that's all the Spanish speaking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I missed Mr. Weston. You said what happened with him again?
He's on suicide watch.
He's on suicide watch.
Okay, that's what I heard you say. Okay, I just want to make sure I heard it right. All right, Deputy,
Yes.
I believe that's everybody.
Thank you so much, Judge. You have a
All
good
right,
day.
thank you.
All right, Judge, I got everybody.
All right, thank you, Miss Mary.
You're welcome.